Although the list could admit to many more modifications and additions, it ought to define, by and large, the main situations in which the analytical or psychotherapeutic process reaches a temporary or sometimes even a definitive end. Experience shows, however, that there is a relatively large number of patients for whom the outward termination of work with the doctor is far from denoting the end of the analytical process. It is rather the case that the dialectical discussion with the unconscious still continues and follows much the same course as it did with those who have not given up their work with the doctor. Occasionally, one meets such patients again after several years and hears the often highly remarkable account of their subsequent development. It was experiences of this kind which first confirmed me in my belief that there is in the psyche a process that seeks its own goal independently of external factors, and which freed me from the worrying feeling that I myself might be the sole cause of an unreal and perhaps unnatural process in the psyche of the patient. This apprehension was not altogether misplaced, inasmuch as no amount of argument based on any of the 9 categories mentioned above, not even a religious conversion or the most startling removal of neurotic symptoms, can persuade certain patients to give up their analytical work. It was these cases that finally convinced me that the treatment of neurosis opens up a problem which goes far beyond purely medical considerations and to which medical knowledge alone cannot hope to do justice. Although in 1953 the early days of analysis now lie nearly half a century behind us, with their pseudo-biological interpretations and their depreciation of the whole process of psychic development, memories die hard and people are still very fond of describing a lengthy analysis as running away from life, unresolved transference, autoeroticism, and by other equally unpleasant epithets. But since there are 2 sides of everything, it is legitimate to condemn this so-called hanging on as negative to life only if it can be shown that it really does contain nothing positive. The very understandable impatience felt by the doctor does not prove anything in itself. Only through infinitely patient research has the new science succeeded in building up a profounder knowledge of the nature of the psyche. And if there have been certain unexpected therapeutic results, these are due to the self-sacrificing perseverance of the doctor. Unjustifiable negative judgments are easily come by and at times harmful. Moreover, they arouse the suspicion of being a mere cloak for ignorance, if not an attempt to evade the responsibility of a thoroughgoing analysis. For since the analytical work must inevitably lead sooner or later to a fundamental discussion between I and you and I, on a plane stripped of all human pretenses, it is very likely indeed, it is almost certain, that not only the patient, but the doctor as well will find the situation getting under his skin. Nobody can meddle with fire or poison without being affected in some vulnerable spot, for the true physician does not stand outside his work, but always in the thick of it,